Some rule changing is what he's doing.
Yeah.
Nick Wright on What's Right with Nick Wright. You know him. Kansas City Chiefs, big-time fan, Nick Wright.
Sure. Lifelong.
Kansas City Chiefs surrogate.
Used to probably be a Cowboy fan.
Ambassador. No, he's a Kansas City fan.
Has he been it forever?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if it's just like front-runner Mahomes thing.
No, not at all. Not at all. You remember 10 years ago, before Mahomes was even there, he called. Remember we had him on?
Okay, yeah.
Did you guys have him on?
Oh, yeah, we called him. He came right on.
Yeah. Alex Smith days.
Friend of the show. He
Right.
was on with us during the Alex Smith days, beating his chest about the Chiefs. But anyway, man, this clip's getting a lot of attention because Nick Wright called out the NBA.
Huh.
And it's a great listen.
It's
And I love anyone who wants to try and fix a sport because that's a passion of mine. I love trying to fix things. You want to fix a Pro Bowl? Talk to me.
It's a bitch of
Want to
mine.
fix the NFL preseason? Come talk to me. I got ideas.
How many times have I taken pictures of guys 3 feet outside the arc, all 5 players, and you got 7-footers standing in the corner waiting for a pass, and nobody's going for the boards? And you don't understand. It's 5 spread. It's the NBA, so you don't get it. I'd be tweeting about it like, how do you not have a big guy there? How do you not crash the boards? And it's just
Nick Wright.
It's a bad watch.
Nick Wright is telling you it's smart. He's not dumping on the Celtics, so don't take this the wrong way. He's saying what the Celtics are doing is smart. That's how they want to play offense
Right.
because the 3-point shot, as he put it, is not worth a little bit more. It's worth a lot more. And he talks. He says the 3-pointer is a 50% premium, and that is what they have figured out. Analytically, if you just keep taking threes, which the Celtics are going to keep doing, they did it all year last year. They're going to continue to do this. They're going to win a lot of games. They're going to, not worry about the ones they lose when they shoot poorly. And he is saying you can't let this keep going. You need to adjust the rules to entice teams to not play this way. Not because it isn't leading to scoring and it isn't leading to wins. It's because opening night, if we're all being honest, stop being entertaining. Like 20 minutes in real time into the game, it was a waste of time. How locked in on that game were you as a fan? The game sucked. And it was because they were dominant. And it was because they hit a million threes.
They knocked down the threes.
Even at the end, though, it felt cheesy going for the record. Like, don't do that. Like, Max was pissed. Stop the social media crap. Fans were getting into it. Go for it. Like, it felt cheap, tawdy. I don't know. I mean, you even talked about this too, watching that championship series or a couple of those games from 2007 when KG was hearing them and how they ran a real basic, like, old offense.
Oh, the game's completely different if you go back and watch the 2018.
You got one point guard. Yeah. Rondo brought it up. He didn't
completely different sport.
It's a different shooters in there. Yeah.
But the first thing I said to you when they said, these teams are going to go.
Man.
And when I said the shooting percentages of those teams are very similar of last year's Celtics and the 07-08 Celtics. The question is, once you increase the volume of shots, can they hit him at the same clip?
Right.
And who knows?
Yeah. Even like
I know the current Celtics can do it. We've seen it.
Yeah.
I don't know if the 08 Celtics can do that.
I don't think you could play Perk and Rondo together on the court. 2 guys that can't shoot.
How are you going to defend?
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Those guys are going to defend on the perimeter. You're going to get
those old Celtic
out there.
Those old Celtic Laker games, those Bulls, Pistons games. Those are fun to freaking watch. Passes behind the back, guys getting clocked, going down the lane. Like, really, you had to earn your fouls. Like, we're never going to get that again.
So what Nick is saying is, number one, he said the thing they'll never do, but I love this idea. Right, this is like the 50-yard field goal for 4 points. Okay, this idea that Nick Wright has, and that is, he said, there's a simple answer that they'll never go for, and he admits that, and that is 3s become 4s and 2s become 3s. Now it's not a 50% premium on the shot; it's only a 33% premium. It's 1/3. It's not half. If you change how the scoring goes in the game, you're now not as eager to do nothing but shoot what would be 4s. What's the matter?
Nothing. Hoodie's walking, that's all. Oh, my God. The Yeti. I just see the Yeti out in the stadium.
So it would be 3s and 4s instead of 2s and 3s.
Yeah.
Would change the math and change the analytics. And I don't know if he's done the research or the analytic people have confirmed that.
No.
But in theory, it makes total sense.
Feels like he's watching games. Like, I'm tired of watching this.
No, I'm saying, does the math add up?
Yeah.
What does that have to do with watching? I'm saying,
No, but like
I don't know if
to
the
his
analytics
overall
crowd
point.
has run the simulation on that to understand the difference in the value dropping like that. I don't know if they've done it. I'm sure someone has run that simulation to know if it works and know if it results in more what is now a 2 being taken as opposed to 3s.
Yeah.
The other part is changing the arc itself. And in the corners, all of a sudden, the line stops before you get to the baseline.
You make it a true arc.
Just takes a 90-degree turn out to the sides.
Yeah. So, you don't have the flat threes.
All
the
that
threes.
space in the corner now, there are no more corner threes.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't count as threes anymore. You've eliminated that. That's no longer part of it. I actually don't I think that might help. I still think it's not gonna change the game.
Still gonna shoot. Yeah.
I still think people are gonna be taking the shots from behind the arc at the same rate.
He had another one that I liked though too.
Which
That's
was?
the dunks are worth 3 points.
It's an interesting one.
Puts an emphasis on the most exciting play in basketball, which it is.
Plays at the rim.
And I think it puts an emphasis back on bigs again a little bit as well. So now maybe the style of play can change a little bit, and those bigs like a Kendrick Perkins or someone like that who can no longer play in the NBA are all of a sudden valuable again.
That would help Brown.
The only problem is, with the 3, you can have 5 guys on the floor that can all do it. Mm-hmm. With the big, there's only one way you can score.
Yeah.
Right? So that's... Or you're just enticing a guy like Tatum to get to the rim more.
Yes.
Or Giannis to go to the rim more. Not that he doesn't do
Or
that
just
at the rim,
those
but,
athletes that can't shoot anymore, but hey, you know what? They're freak athletes that can attack like a Zion now all of a sudden is even more valuable. I think that introduces a more exciting way to play and more options in terms of styles of play in the NBA that you're going to see now. Right now, I think it's 42% of all shots in the NBA are threes. First time in NBA history as of so far this season, I know it's early, that you're going to have more than 40% of the shots be from deep. It's a relatively boring style of play.
It is. It's a boring watch. It's not a great television product. And what he's saying is, and I do remember this part that you're talking about, is where's all the plays in the paint that we had
dunking over
in
a big
the 90s,
man? Yeah.
Right? I mean, just sort of big-time plays that were not necessarily, by the way, if you're on our simulcast, you're seeing some of it, Jason Tatum sprinting from the three-point line to make the dunk. It's like a guy has the ball, and he's set up in the lane, and he makes some moves and makes some plays around the basket.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but Tatum coming in from three-point range on a sprint to the basket is not plays around the basket in my mind. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm glad that he's attacking the basket. That's good, but it's not, as you're saying, the traditional big man plays down low.
They had 2-on-1 and a fast break, and we're going to pull up for 3 versus, going in and attacking the rim, too. I think stylistically that could change some things.
There was a three-pointer at the end of the game last night for the Celtics where it was completely accidental that the guy just got the rebound and had a two-pointer right up at the basket, and he was all alone, just because everyone's out there.
We're looking forward to talking to Joe Mazzulla coming up in about 20 minutes, and we'll ask him about this. I'm curious to get his take on it, on what would happen if the rules were to change at some point. I don't think we're close to it. I don't think it's going to happen soon. But if this continues for another several years in this league, I think it would take another 4 or 5 years of this.
Did it happen overnight in baseball, though? Or was it slowly?
It took 2 decades before
and then it got to a point where now all of a sudden we have to make some dramatic changes, and in the sport, I'd like to be a little proactive. I'll give him credit, too, because one of the other things he pointed out was just superstars sitting out games and not having premier players on a stage. I think the NBA has done a good job of trying to be proactive in fixing that. I just don't know what the solution really is for it.
Yeah, we should talk about that, too. The regular season not mattering doesn't matter to teams the way that it should. Joe. You there?
Oh, what's up?
Hey, what's going on?
Hi, Joe.
Hey, great music intro. Who picked that?
That would be.
I give him no credit.
Tyler Milliken.
That's a generic rejoin.
You don't get credit for that one.
Is that Kanye bumping it back?
It is. You don't get credit for that one.
Joe likes it. So.
What we got today, fellas?
All right. Yeah. Hey, let me ask you. Do you feel like you and your team are taking the start of the season a little bit more seriously than the rest of your league? Because it certainly looks that way.
I haven't paid a ton of attention to the rest of the league, just kind of the 4 opponents that we had. But like I said, I love the mindset and the approach that the guys came in training camp. It's a long year, and we'll go through small phases, ups and downs, but it's a compliment to the guys just coming in with the right attitude every day. So we got to fight to keep that going.
I think maybe winning the whole damn thing helped you too, because like most teams, because you said it's a long year, slow immersion into the season. We'll get our team up and running. And Embiid didn't play game one. You guys had to have everybody ready to go and come out flying. You're dropping the banner. That night was important to you, and I think that may help you get off to a good start.
I think it did. I think just having an understanding of what goes into winning, having an understanding of what we can accomplish, but having an understanding of the opportunities that we have for however long we're together, and just trying to take advantage of those. So, again, even more important in the start to the season, I thought it was more important the way we got off the training camp, because I think that'll help us build and maintain the habits throughout the season. But, I like the start that we're off to now.
Do you feel like Payton Pritchard, in the time that you've been on this staff, both as head coach and prior to that, has gotten better every year that he's been in the league?
I would even take it almost every half a year. I mean, I feel like he's just constantly finding small ways. And one of the greatest gifts I've gotten in the NBA was to spend my first few seasons with all the young guys and just kind of seeing the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows. And the one thing Payton has had from day one is just a mental toughness to handle his environment. When he first came into the league, Kemba missed some games with his knee, and Payton played a ton of minutes. And then Kemba came back, and he did it. And he just handled the of being a young player really, really well. And he's had to constantly reinvent his game. Some nights he plays point guard. Some nights he plays off the ball. Some nights he comes in as the first sub. Some nights he's the third sub. So, he doesn't really care about his circumstances. He just competes at the highest level, and that's what I love about him. When
did you see that click for him, Joe? Because I think at the beginning, too, and he did complain about playing time. There was reports that he asked for a trade. Then the contract was done, and you see other articles where Jaylen Brown's like one of his best friends on the team. Is it Jaylen's influence, or was there a point where something just clicked for Payton? He said, "You know what? I'm accepting it. I'm sticking here, and I'm going to be the guy."
I want to rephrase it. I don't think I never took anything he said as complaining about playing time. And that's what you want from your guys is you want them to want more. You want them to play more. You want them to, want to be at the highest level and hold themselves to the highest standard. So I never looked at it as a complaint. I looked at it as you know exactly what you're getting from him. He wants to play 48 minutes every single night, and he wants to have the highest impact on the team, and he wants to do whatever it takes to win every night. And obviously, over the course of a season and a career, some of that stuff is not controllable. And I just think he handles it really well. He knows exactly who he is. He's extremely competitive, and he knows he's going to impact the game in any way necessary because he wants to win. And you have to have guys like that. You got to have guys that will accept their role, but at the same time know they're really damn good. And that's kind of him.
He's a gym rat, isn't he?
He is, yeah, he is.
Yeah, because you get so many flashy guys in the league, it's almost like the flashy guys get bugged by the gym rats because they're pesty. Even going back to the finals where, his ability to play defense and get on Kyrie and that, just it frustrated the hell out of those type of guys.
Yeah, and I think he's found different ways, and I think that's a testament to him and the guys that he works with. But every night he's going to impact the game differently. Some nights it's defense. He picked 2 big rebounds up last night that allowed us to get out and transition. It's his shot making, it's his passing, it's his offensive rebounding. So he's just found ways to impact the game, and it looks different every night.
Your 3-point attempts as a team are up again so far this year. I'm just wondering kind of what your approach is to 3-point attempts. Is there a target number you go into that you want to hit every game?
Listen, the only thing we talk about with our guys is the defensive coverage is going to dictate our shot selection. And we have to fight for a great shot based on our environment every single night. And sometimes it's easier to generate shots for your team than it is on other nights. But we have to know going into a game what the defensive coverage is. How can we create the 2-on-1s? Can we create them fast? And then can we make the read fast? And sometimes the byproduct of those 2-on-1s are open threes. Sometimes the byproduct of those 2-on-1s are cuts for layups. And so we just stress constantly about taking the great shot based on what your defense is giving you, and can you create those over and over again.
All right, let's pretend we're in an alternate universe for a second. Years from now in the NBA, we've been kicking around some proposed rule changes in the league.
Oh,
What if?
I love this.
What if?
Maybe not.
And credit to Nick Wright, who has talked a lot about this on his show, and we played a clip from him earlier. How would the game change if the corner three was taken away and the arc went to the sidelines, I don't know, let's call it 7-8 feet from the baseline? What happens if the corner three disappears?
First of all, let's entertain better, more important rules that will make the game better.
Okay, we can do that too. What do you got? You have some proposals?
Come on.
Yeah, like basketball is one of the only sports that doesn't have a power play. And I think soccer just put in the blue card where a guy has to go off and it's 10-on-9. And so, like, we should have a power play where, like, because let's say you get a technical or let's say you get a take foul, you get the one shot, but you're not really rewarded for that because if you miss it, you don't get the reward for the take foul. You know what I mean? So there should be like a power play where on a take foul, on a technical, you have to play 5-on-4 for 5 seconds or 3 passes.
Or charge.
Or what about for an entire possession? What if for the entire possession it's 5-on-4?
Yeah.
I mean, that might be a little extreme, but I think we should institute power plays where instead of taking the ball out on the side, you commit a foul, the guy goes to the other side of half court, and he can't leave the half court circle until like 3 seconds.
Oh, I love this. That's an awesome idea.
This is better than the Nick Wright stuff.
Yeah.
Like, why can't we talk
Okay,
about this?
how about another one? How about dunks are worth threes?
No.
You're out on that.
Out. Why?
Yeah, I'm not.
4-point play?
I don't like it.
Nick Wright's motivation is, and his point is that the threes, and he complimented you and your team, saying the way the Celtics are playing is very smart, and what they're doing is smart, and they're going to win a million games. And he said that it's created a television, an entertainment product that is not what it once was in the NBA. That we're missing some of those big plays inside. That we're missing the big men of the sport of 30 years ago. That there needs to be more variety, and there needs to be different types of players on the floor again. That's kind of what his point is. And so
I think the biggest thing that we rob people of from an entertainment standpoint is you can't fight anymore. We should just bring back like fighting.
I mean, I'm not against that. I'm not against those days in the NBA.
What's more? Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about robbing the league of entertainment? What's more entertaining than a little scuffle?
I agree.
Well, there's no fear of guys.
A baseball game, and how come in baseball they're allowed to go to the benches? How come in hockey they're allowed to play? I don't understand. Like
hockey, they actually let them go for a while.
How about just hard fouls in the sport? I mean, even if it doesn't rise to the level of fighting, you don't have the hard fouls anymore. You don't have the fear of going inside. You don't have the fear of some of the other opponents.
Yeah.
And every time someone gets clubbed, you don't have to go to the monitor to see if like a misdemeanor's been committed.
Oh, I love it, Joe. That's be great.
Yeah, I mean, by the time we're done with this conversation, we're going to have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu right on Lucky the Leprechaun.
I just don't get why some sports are allowed to clear the benches. They have bats and weapons. We don't. We just have
It's fair. It's fair.
Joe, I mean, I think every
the other sport has like one of the hardest surface playing instruments and a puck and sticks, and yet we're not allowed to throw it out a little bit.
But I will say this: you do realize that every sport is trying to eliminate that element. I mean, the NHL has punished it more so than ever before. And it's really become less a part of their sport and less a part of the culture in their sport. The NFL now, if you throw a punch in an NFL game, it's an automatic ejection.
Yeah.
So that's been.
Why would you punch a guy wearing a helmet? That doesn't even make sense.
Because guys are stupid, Joe.
Yeah, because it's instinct is what it comes down to.
It's fight.
You're wearing a helmet, and your instinct is to hit somebody, and you're wearing helmets.
Yeah.
I mean, you should like Bill Goldberg spear him or something. Like, you don't punch him. You got a helmet.
I've hit Goldberg before. You know that.
Mazzulla, you know that story about Zoe and Goldberg?
No, but I used to love Goldberg.
Deion Sanders picked me off twice, and the second time he did that high stepping on the sideline, and I hit him out of bounds late, and I speared him. And then I started a melee on that Falcon sideline. Goldberg was the one that picked me off. And Goldberg was playing for the
back
Falcons.
when Goldberg was with the Falcons.
Yep.
That's a hell of a story.
It's a great story, Joe.
Yeah.
We got to do this over
story.
dinner sometime again soon. You know?
But power plays and just a
Love the
couple
power
of
play.
scuffles, I think entertainment will be right back where it was.
Man, I didn't expect it to go in that direction, but I love it.
Power
I
plays
think you got a
great.
hell of a plan here. And you're a guy in a position to present this to the people who matter.
Yeah, I'm sure they're really excited to hear what I have to say about it.
I'm sure they're not.
You're the defending champ? Yep.
How big of an issue do you think load
Yeah.
management is for the NBA right now?
I mean, credit to our guys. We don't really have that problem. Our guys like to play.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you definitely
we
don't.
just
Yeah.
said that
We said
5
that,
minutes
yeah.
ago before you came on. You're not a team that pulls that stuff.
No, I mean, there's a time and a place for rest. It's obviously important, but I'm grateful for our guys. They want to play every night. They want to practice. So
It's like you're lucky you got a young team, Joe. I mean, outside Al, you got a pretty young team.
we got a young team, but we got good guys. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you
got
seen the
guys that
Vince
wanna play.
McMahon documentary?
What is it?
Have you seen the Vince McMahon documentary?
I have not.
No.
Oh man, you guys gotta watch that.
Have you seen the Red Sox 2004 documentary on Netflix that just dropped last week?
Of course. You think I'm gonna let the Yankees go down 3-0 and not relish in that by rewatching that?
I know. I'm just saying it just dropped last week, so I don't know if you had time to carve out 3 hours for it. How great
Busy
was
guy.
that?
Yeah.
That was great. That was phenomenal.
It also
I mean,
stresses.
think about that. Pedro Martinez speared Don Zimmerman. Or what? Like threw him down. That was
He
classic.
pulled
Yeah.
him down by his head.
It was like
Thomas
Zimmerman went
Shaken.
after him with a punch like that. To me, there's nothing better than that type of rivalry, tension, conflict. I mean, that was great.
I'm so glad that Pedro does not have any regrets about that
So do I.
because he shouldn't. He shouldn't. He shouldn't have regrets about it. He does not have regrets. He said the guy came at me, threw a left hand at me, and what was I going to do? Sit there and take it?
Bad technique by Don Zimmer. Shouldn't duck his head on a punch like that. You got to put yourself
I
out
give
there.
Zimmer a lot of credit, though.
Hey, but if you want to engage in a
No,
fight,
no.
man, your age doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
You're in it.
Right.
So
You're in it.
speaking of rule changes, I got one for you. This
Okay,
is what
great.
I always bring up. What if so in Abu Dhabi, I was talking to their chairman, great guy, unbelievable, and he was saying how like jiu-jitsu is the national sport. Like over 800,000 people in the country do jiu-jitsu.
So are you're gonna move there now? Is that what you're telling us? You're going there?
It took a lot for me to get back on the plane after that. But like, what if we all walked around with like 5 coins, right? And at any point in time, you can just hand one out, and like you just challenge the guy to like combat.
What?
Like man on the street. You can do that to anybody on the street.
Yeah.
When does the
You
combat
can do it to
stop?
anyone on the street. Like everyone's got 5.
Fight to death?
Can't
All
use,
I know-
obviously- You can't use any weapons. You can't use any weapons. But these are the type of things that like I think about. Like I think the world would be a better place if everyone walked down the street and knew that everyone had 5 coins
You're right.
and they could be used at any time.
That's right.
You and if you do pull a coin on a guy and he beats you up, like that's your fault. Like you either gotta train harder or pick and choose your coins better. But you get 5 a year.
5 a year.
Joe Mazzulla's utopia is a real violent place.
Yeah.
You know?
I actually think it would breed less violence over the course of time.
He's right.
Well, there is something to that. Yeah. You see it with kids now.
It's like the right to carry, Joe.
There's no self-policing with kids anymore because there's no fear of getting your ass kicked.
Right.
None.
No. And like,
None.
how many times like were you at your friend's house and like it just broke out into like a brawl?
Yeah, and you just settled crap as kids, right? Like
Yeah.
you just had a way of
You
figuring it
start
out.
playing-
Right. Yes.
Yeah, like you start
there's
playing 2-on-2,
Right.
and then all of a sudden you're just like in
Gotta
a
fight out in the
melee,
yard.
and then it's
Yep.
like, yeah.
Used to have those all the time.
And now it's like
Now they'll tell mommy, and mommy,
you gotta
mommy will
tell
go file
mommy,
a complaint.
and mommy's gonna
Yeah.
call this mommy, and it's like,
Yeah.
what are we doing here over something that was
Yeah.
nothing? I do agree with that. There is something to be said for that.
It's a good interview with Joe today.
Oh, it's the best. Always great
stuff.
talking to you, Joe. Congrats on the 4-0
Yeah, we got
start.
better
You
today.
guys look locked in.
All right.
Appreciate it, guys.
See
All
you,
right.
Joe.
See you soon.
Later.
Bye. Joe Mazzulla,
Guy gets
Celtics head coach. If you like that clip, check out more videos from Zolak and Bertrand here. For more Celtics analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.